this is your new tank that we're sending out, and you'll notice here this sensor is different than the sensor in the old tank. And this is the cable that we'll be connecting when we reassemble the box. It has a notch right here, and once this tank is in, this will be connected already, and you just take and line the notch up with a little tab on the back there. Just slide that down in and screw this connector down tight like that, and that's it as far as connecting that sensor there. So that one's pretty easy and good. But I just wanted to go ahead and go over that before we actually got the tank in the box, because we're gonna, for demonstration purposes, we took the old tank out. We're gonna put it back in. This is the one we're gonna ship to you. So I wanted to show that to you before we got it back, the other tank back in there. Okay, here I just wanted to show you when you get ready to reassemble the box, you want to get as much of the old glue off of the fittings as you can. The fittings that are in the top of the cell here, that Pedro is just using a regular razor knife to scrape the glue off of there. If there's a very minimal amount left, that's not the end of the world, but you want to get as much of it as you can off. If you can find maybe a small wire brush or something, just be careful that no big pieces get down inside of the holes there. Okay, now we're going to set the tank back inside the box. We've already put some glue around the edges of that fittings there. So we'll go ahead and set the tank in. And make sure the wires are over the top of those hoses there. And we go ahead and slide the cells right up to where they meet the hoses. And get the fitting started on there. Okay, now we just get the fittings somewhat tight with the single wrench for now. Just turn them a little bit until they start to snug up. Now when you tighten these, you really want to get the small wrench on the edge of that fitting there. Because if the fittings that are in the tank move now, then they're going to have to be re-glued. So that means taking the cells back loose and taking the tank out and redoing those fittings. Sometimes it's easier with two people. Pedro's pretty good at it, so. Okay, both of those are tight now.
Tight. This is tight against.
Now we make sure everything's pushed tight up against the back of the box or the side right here. Push everything over this way, nice and tight. And then we'll go ahead and put the strap back around it and put that 3/8 bolt back through the side. Put the nut back on the outside. Okay, now the tank's back in. Next we'll get the sensor wire in and get some of the other electrical back together. Okay, this is the wires for the new sensor in the new tank. We got a brown and a white wire. They'll go back into the same pins that the other wires came out of. The white wire will go in pin 11 and the brown wire will go in pin 17. So you may have to take a screwdriver or what you have handy and move some of these other wires out of the way. And you got, again, 1, 8, then the left side middle is 9 to 15 and 16 to 23. So we want the first, second, third pin in the middle, which would be pin number 11. And we will insert the pin with the white wire in there, and we'll push it until it seats up there. And sometimes if it does not want to go in there right, get something very small you can use to push it the rest of the way up. I have a screwdriver here that's pretty much almost to a point that I use for that. Okay, that one's pin 11. 17 is the second pin here. And again, push that all the way up until it seats, and that one went in by itself. Okay, so that's good. You give the wire a tug and make sure it's not going to come out of there. Then we'll take the top piece that we removed earlier and put it back on, and basically you just get it lined up over the pins. Each one of these holes on the bottom, a pin goes in, and you may have to work it around a little bit until it starts like that. And then now it's on the first snap, and then snap it the rest of the way down, and there you go. Okay, now that this wire and the pins are back in there, just take the wire, run it down along where it was, and again, this is the old tank for demonstration purposes, but you'll hook this to the new tank like I showed you before. Line the notch up with the tab, slide it down in, and screw it on. And that's it for hooking that sensor back up. Channel locks here, and just squeeze that shut. And that's it. That one's connected, and we have one more connector. You have to connect this black wire over here to the brown wire where it was connected before. Again, you might have to trim the black wire some. Put both of them up in there until they go all the way to the end. Get your pliers or channel locks and squeeze that shut all the way. And tug on them to make sure they're not going to come out of there. Same with this one. And that's it. Now those are connected, and we can move on to putting the unit back together.